Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Audrey R. Murfeld Irrevocable Trust Farmland Auction. We want to welcome each and every one of you here on behalf of the Murfeld family, on behalf of the auction crew, both Bear Farmland Auctions and Dream Dirt Farmland Auctions. And we appreciate each and every one of you being here. If some of you folks are on the bleachers, if you want to come up, you're welcome to sit up here in the chairs. If you're in the back, it's just like church. There's still seats available up front. And so we would like to start this morning, ladies and gentlemen, with honoring our country and singing our national anthem. I'd like to ask Deb Hill to come up from Clear Lake, Iowa, who is now retired, but she was a school teacher, a singing teacher in Clear Lake for many years.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, ma'am. Well done as usual. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we're here for the Audrey R. Murfeld Irrevocable Trust Farmland Auction, Monday, July 31st, 2017. 10 a.m. We appreciate you all being here. We're here at the Marble Rock Community Center in Marble Rock, Iowa. The beautiful community of Marble Rock, Iowa. We certainly enjoyed our time down here. We set up here last night. We had an opportunity to go out by the dam and the river and so on. I really very much enjoy the community of Marble Rock, Iowa. It's a great, great community, and it's a pleasure to be here and pleasure to be here with you folks, whether you're from town or from the farm. I'd like to thank Farm Credit Services, Michelle Greiman and Brad Himsot for being here with the good coffee and donuts. We appreciate it very much. Videographer is Mike Orr, is here from Ames, Iowa, and we record all of our auctions for professional basis so that we make sure that everything is complete and correct in every way. And also on a personal basis, we give each and every one of the folks that we work for in the airs a copy of that video. Ladies and gentlemen, the description of the farmland today is 138.6 acres, more or less total acres. We're going to be selling in two parcels. Parcel number 1, and that is 75.92 acres more or less. And the legal description is the east one half of the northeast quarter of Section 16, Township North, Range 17, west of the 5th PM, Floyd County, Iowa. The CSR is 74.5. The CSR2 is 71.4. Got some excellent soils, ladies and gentlemen, a good producing farm. Parcel number 2 is 62.6 acres more or less. And that's you can see up here, Jason is and Chad are on the board over here, and you'll have an opportunity to see this on the screen. The west one half of the northeast quarter of Section 16, and we're talking about parcel number 2, Township 94 North, Range 17, west of the 5th PM, lying east of the Chicago, Rock Island, and Pacific Railroad Company. the right-of-way, and that's the Floyd County, Iowa, except parcel E as described and depicted by the plat of survey filed December 2, 2002 as instrument number 2002-3920. The CSR is 76.8. The CSR2 is 72.9. You might have an opportunity next, ladies and gentlemen, to look at the tile maps. And I'd like to ask Tim Bruner, would you come up here for just a second, please? I didn't ask Tim to come up here before because he's a pretty reserved guy, but I've got to ask you about the tile maps. How you doing?
Good.
Thank you, sir, for being here.
Yeah. It was a problem because of across the road, the 160 across the road, all the water dumped in that ditch, went through the culvert, and it...
Hold on just a second. We've got a long enough cord so everybody can hear.
Well, the 160 across the road dumped, and this part was always staying wet. So in '91, I think it was, I went and talked to Carney's, and then they let me go across. I got a good outlet there, there's no problem. And we ran a 5-inch line up, did this, and then there's an intake right there, and it's taking care of the problem. This line over here runs up, there's a hill here, and there was a spring. And every year, there's always a problem. And what little bit of tile it took care of that. So the rest of the farm, no problem. So it worked out well.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
We appreciate that. If any of you folks need information on the tile maps or whatever, we have them available, and they're back at the clerk's back there, or we can come and, if you put your hand in the air, we can come and give you one also. Ladies and gentlemen, the terms of the and conditions of the auction. Immediately following the auction and conclusion, the high bidder will enter into a real estate contract and deposit with made payable deposit of $30,000 per tract, and to the Heine Law Firm in Mason City, Iowa, for each tract. And ladies and gentlemen, the attorney for the estate is Mike Verbach with the Heine Law Firm. And folks, so if you do not perform on that contract, you'll not get your $30,000 back, but we've never had that happen in the almost 50 years that I've been an auctioneer. But we do want you to know that. The sellers will provide a current abstract at their expense. The sale is not contingent upon buyer financing. All bids are cash bids. The sale was subject to all easements, covenants, and leases and restrictions of record. The buyers, we ask you to do your own due diligence on the property, on the land. All property is sold as is, where is. It's kind of like any of us that are married, how we took our husbands or our wives, as is, where is, and for better, for worse, and so that's how that'll be. No guarantees or warranties, expressed or implied, made by the auctioneer or the sellers. The seller reserves the right to accept or reject any and all bids. Bear Farm Land Auctions and Dream Dirt Farm and Ranch Real Estate LLC are representatives of the agents for the seller. So that you know, the winning bidder will acknowledge they are representing, then they're authorized to complete the sales contract. Any announcements today will take precedent over any printed matter or oral statements prior to today. The bid auctioneer may accept absentee or phone bidders, so that you know, folks. One of the things that's really been really neat about this auction, and I'll talk a little bit more about it later on. But my name is Paul C. Bear. I'm going to be the auctioneer today, and I with Bear Farm Land Auctions. I live in Denver, Colorado, and I started in the auction business in 1971 and sold almost a little over 9,000 auctions. I've teamed up with a company called Dream Dirt, and from Iowa, Jason Smith and Nicole Smith and Chad Balls and their crew, because I wanted to do the very best job that I could do for the Murfeld family. And something that's very interesting to me The technology that's used today and some of the things that Dream Dirt's, it's been an excellent, excellent experience that they've done. There's been over 1 million sets of eyes that have had the opportunity to look at this auction. And we've had calls, I'm going to ask Jason Smith, the owner of Dream Dirt, to come up in a little while, but they had calls from New York and Illinois and a lot of other places, investors from Des Moines and Minneapolis and so on. And we really like that. And if an investor buys it, that's great. We like when the farmer across the field buys it. And I'm a Rockwell farm kid, and I understand what farmland is, and I understand how important farmland is to folks, not only to investors, but also to farmers and operators and so on. But 1 million views have looked at this farm through the technology that Dream Dirt has provided. I want to also let you know that possession will be honored before March 1st, 2018. The closing, as I said, will be at Attorney Michael S. Vervich, Mason City, Iowa. Folks, if you're an investor or if you're doing 1031 money or things like that, the family has said they'll close before that also. So they'll accommodate you if all of a sudden you say, I need to close in 40 days or I need to close in 30 days. The abstract just needs to be brought up to date, and Attorney Vervich and the family will accommodate you on that. I want you to know that you can buy with confidence today. The auctioneers will not be bidding on the farmland, obviously, and the family will not be bidding on the farmland. And also, Tim Brunner, who's here, that's farmed that land for over 40 years, has said that he is not going to be bidding on it. He's here, but he will farm it for you. Is that correct? When you become the owner. I'd like to speak a little bit about that. One of the things that happens, I think, as we all know, is people get relationships with renters, with tenants, with owners, with landlords, and so on. Tim Brunner has farmed this farm for over 40 years, many, many years without a lease. He farmed it from Ed and Audrey Murfeld and farmed it with the kids. They've had an excellent relationship. And I must tell you, whether you're an investor or if you're someone that is buying it for an investment, whether it's local or someplace else, and the family wants me to let you know this. If you would like a top-notch farmer that treats that land like it's his own and makes it better and better every year, here's the man you want to rent to, is Tim Brunner from Marble Rock, Iowa. Would you please stand up so everybody can get a good look at you? I know you're a reserved guy, but we want to thank you very much for being here. Hey, Haley. You can just go down along this side there if you want to. And ladies and gentlemen, the next thing that I would like to, is that right, family? You know, he's so much of important to that family that he's sitting at the owner's table. So that's pretty good over there. As I said, he said he's not going to bid on it, but he will farm it for you. So something that's pretty important. There'll be a 2% buyer's premium today, and some folks are familiar with buyer's premium, some folks aren't. That means if you bid $100 an acre on the farm, that you'll pay $102. It means if you bid $1,000 on the farm, it'll be $1,020 is when the real estate contract is made. If you bid $10,000, it'll be $10,200. Sometimes people say, where does that money go? And that's a good question. First of all, it goes for advertising in one degree or another. It goes for technology. It goes for some other things. And certainly part of it goes into the auctioneer for their commission. One of the things that we have, folks, as auctioneers is we have a fiduciary duty, we have a personal duty, we have a professional duty to do our very best job that we can for the sellers. And so that we've done that. And so be aware of the 2% buyer's premium. I'd like to introduce the auction crew at this time, if I may, and that is Ed Bear. Where are you at? Ed Bear is over here, and Ed is part of the auction crew. Of course, he's a reserve Iowa State champion auctioneer, ladies and gentlemen, and so he is a top auctioneer. On this side is Haley Bear, and Haley Bear was judged the best young auctioneer in the country just 2 years ago. So she's from Des Moines, Iowa, and just graduated from Iowa State University as an accomplished auctioneer, and certainly Ed is too. Some folks that I have worked with since 1971 for over 45 years as the best auction clerk crew in the country, and Dorothy DeBerry is not here, she's home, but Dorothy is absolutely tops in every way. Rilla Arnold is here. You'll see her in the back there. She'll be taking your numbers and so on. Mindy Welling from Rockwell, Iowa is there. And of course, Nicole Smith. And the little guy is back there, and they'll take care of any. Little Clay is back there. So Clay doesn't have a bidding number, but who knows, he might get one. You know, folks, the reason I gave this auction crew, especially Mindy and Rilla and Dorothy, such a good introduction is back in the 80s and back through the years, they worked with me every single day, every single auction. They worked at 100-degree plus weather, plus 100% humidity, and they worked at 40 degrees below zero, and sometimes in a hog house with a Nimco heater where you couldn't see in front of your face. So, ladies, I appreciate your hard work. You're second to none in my book. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce now some folks that are the most important part of today besides the bidders and the buyers, and that is the family. And Carolyn Athey, an executor from Columbus, Nebraska, and she is third from right, and her husband Dean is here. They've come all the way from Nebraska, and certainly we appreciate being here, and we certainly appreciate the faith that the family had in us to conduct their farmland auction. We probably started this process about 6 or 8 months ago, and we've had an excellent time in marketing personally and professionally, and it's been a very nice relationship and very nice to work with. Secondly, I'd like to introduce Judy Smith and her husband Steve from Fort Myers, Florida, i.e. Breckenridge, Colorado. They spend some time in both places, and we appreciate them being here. Alan Murfeld from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and his wife Sunny are here, and we appreciate them being here. And last but certainly not least is one of my very best friends for many years, and one of the best auctioneers in the country, and that's my friend Doug Murfeld, part of the family, etc. Doug's been an auctioneer and one of the very best throughout the country since 1972. You know, folks that are from Marble Rock, Iowa, sometimes people live in a town, and sometimes people don't know as much about them, or don't know one thing about them that they should know. And if you're from Marble Rock, Iowa, I want you to know that in your town, Doug Murfeld is one of the very best auctioneers in the country, and certainly sold POA ponies all over the country, sold at the big car markets in Minneapolis and Des Moines and all over. And I've got to say, on a personal basis, one of my best friends. He's a great guy, great auctioneer, and Doug, it's a pleasure working for you. It's a little bit different on that end of the not being up here on the microphone today, I'll bet. And also his daughter Tracy is with him here. Wife Tracy is here with him today. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to talk a little bit about the history of the Murfeld farmland, and then we're going to get underway with the auction. Just east of the farmland that we're selling today, in 1898, the Murfeld family bought that farmland. I think Mr. Frost owns it now, if I'm correct. And that was in 1898. This is not part of the farm that we're selling today. It's an old farmstead over there, the beautiful square house and outbuildings and so on. Now the farm we're selling today is a Century Farm. It was originally purchased in 1903, and part of the farm was purchased in 1917. Quite a history on that. It's been in the Murfeld name for almost 115 years, which is quite a credit. A little earlier I said I've had an opportunity to sell 9,000 auctions, and I have. This is the first Century Farm I've ever sold. And it's a credit to the family. It's a credit to their ancestors. It's a credit to the hard work of the family that they have had this farmland in the family for all those years. You know, somebody asked, well, what was happening in 1903? Well, here's a few things that were happening. Teddy Roosevelt was was president. He had no vice president because William McKinley was assassinated, and at that time, There was no provision for a vice president. If you were the vice president, you moved to president, nobody was vice president. So there was no vice president when he was president. Orville and Wilbur Wright made their first successful airplane flight. The Great Chicago Fire killed 600 people in 1903. The first World Series happened in 1903. And bacon was 13.5 cents a pound. So anyway, the only people that remember that are Jason and Chad. They were still here at that time, but the rest of us weren't. And this next part, you know, I thought about what I was going to say today, and I thought about how important this is. You know, every generation of Murfeld family have been proud citizens of Marble Rock, Iowa. They've contributed to the town. Each generation has put in all they've had and not taken anything out for the betterment of the town of Marble Rock, the rural community, its people, schools, churches, businesses in every way. We all know, folks, we all know, as Zig Ziglar said, it doesn't take us very long to know if people are for us or not. The Murfeld family have been for Marble Rock, Iowa, and they put a lot in the Marble Rock, Iowa cash register and taken very little out. We commend you for Murfeld children. Here today at this historic auction, the sale of a century farm. Ed, it happens only once, rarely, only once in a while, as we know that. And just for you folks that are curious, the oldest century farm is in Dubuque County in 1836, and this was 1903 on this one. You know, kids, your father Ed and your mother Audrey Campbell, by the way, is a Rockwell girl, so Rilla, we kind of claim her a little bit too, don't we? Because we know a lot of the good Campbell folks over in Rockwell. But we remember today, we remember the ancestors who plowed and planted and harvested this crop on your ancestors' land, sometimes behind a team of horses, and sometimes on a steel seat with, were you folks green or red people? Don't mention that, the other word around here, huh? Should we just take this off the table while we're, anyway, behind a John Deere tractor, and sometimes in the cab of a John Deere tractor. And this farm, ladies and gentlemen, the town of Marble Rock, the community, and I say this without reservation for Murfeld children, that the town of Marble Rock, because of you folks and your ancestors, are better. And I say thank you on behalf of Marble Rock and Floyd County. Folks, should we give this Century Farm heirs a round of applause, and then we'll move on. Well done, kids. At this time, I would like to introduce a gentleman that I partnered up on this auction with. And you know, I said a little bit earlier, I've been an auctioneer a long time, and I have. But one of the things that we have, and that is we have a duty, a real fiduciary duty, and a professional duty, and also a personal duty to do the very best job for the people that we're working for. The Dream Dirt Company from Iowa, Jason has sold over 200 farms at auction, and that's no small feat. And they have some technology that many times local auctioneers do not have. Folks, quite frankly, you see the bulletin boards? Well, the little bulletin boards with the parcel number on top, that stuff is going away. And the screens with all the modern conveniences is what's happening. Nicole Smith is back there. She's running the internet. There's internet bidding that's going to be coming in from different places. Somebody might be in Chicago O'Hare Airport bidding. Somebody might be in an office in Des Moines or Minneapolis. Or somebody may be, are you ready for this? May be sitting out in front in their automobile and doesn't want to come in, and they'll be bidding also. So we really welcome working with Dream Dirt family, the Dream Dirt Company. It's been a great experience, and I welcome that, and I commend Jason Smith and his company, and I'd like to ask Jason to come up. If there's anything that I forgot or anything that you'd like to add, there's a seat for you, mister.
Oh, I don't need to see Paul. You know, over the last 2 months of putting this auction together and visiting with the family, it's been a really long process. And I thought of probably like 700 or 800 things I was going to say, and then I got up to the microphone and I could think of like 2 of them. First of all, I really appreciate you guys hiring us. You know, in the beginning we had this conversation, we're going to do this, not do this, and hopefully you're happy with the way things turned out. We have really enjoyed the opportunity to market a Century Farm because, like Paul said, we've sold a lot of farms, and that's neat, but there's a few of them that are really, really special farms. And those that have a story behind them like this, and those that have the designation, the prestigious designation of being a Century Farm with so much history behind it, makes it a really special deal to work on. For me, myself, Paul Bear's been a mentor since I left auction school, and so Paul, I appreciate you bringing me in as well, too, because that's a really special event for me. And our employees have got to work on this, Chad and Nicole, and it looks like the boys going to just sneak up there right in the middle of the auction. And we was able to find babysitters for 3 of them, but nobody would take this, so I apologize. Hi, buddy. How you doing? You can talk about that, okay? Paul said that 1 million sets of eyes got to see this auction, and I'll explain that. In today's world, how we communicate and how we market things and how we see things has really, really changed. People read newspapers less and less today, but they start to, he's going to get you a tractor after all, Nicole. People see things in a different way to where they have these news feeds now. They see Instagram, and they're targeted digitally through things. And that's what we do. We're a heavy technology company, but we still use newspapers. You saw I had some newspapers, or Iowa Farmer Today, whatever it might have been. So we still do those old-fashioned things. We still put signs out on the highway. We still print flyers and we hang those up. And we're still mail postcards out. But today, much like precision agriculture, you have planters that can go down and have road shut-offs, and it won't run into other roads because you want to maximize that soil's ability to grow that particular plant. You don't want 10 or 12 seeds in one spot that are going to grow and everybody just doesn't do well. Same with variable rate seeding or variable rate fertilizers, whatever it might be. It's really precise and helps maximize. And marketing today is the same way, to where we can just maximize that effect of reaching the exact right people that want to see those things. So with that, I wanted to talk about that, and I also wanted to mention, I told Paul we mentioned it a couple times, but there's a buyer's fee on this auction today. It's 2%. We don't want anybody to forget about that. Hopefully we've been really, really open about that. Everybody has seen it. Everybody knows that it's out there. One of the things that we do as auctioneers, I don't know if people always recognize or realize this, but we're trying to get farms to the open market for you guys to bid on. I know for you guys that can be a good thing, and maybe on farms you want to buy, you want to go to the open market, whatever it might be, but I think on the open market where everybody gets a chance, and it's open and it's transparent and everybody gets to see it. So that's what we do. We break these farms out so you guys get them, otherwise they're not so, just really easy to cross the fence, and maybe the investors come in and just buy them without this opportunity for everybody to see it. So hopefully you see the value in those things. I guess that's all.
I don't think so. You guys probably want to get on with the auction. The auctioneers stop talking.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, I do appreciate all of you guys coming. Nicole's going to do the online bidding in the back of the room. How that's going to work is if somebody bids online, and you can download the app on your smartphone right now, and you can watch it online. You can see what she's doing. And by all means, if you want to go over and see her computer screen and see what she's doing, feel free. There's completely open over there, and you can watch it all you want. But she'll yell out yes, just like the ringman's going to yell out, and Paul would take that bid and then just advance the bid. So she's going to be just like the ringman you see out there before, only she's just taking her bids from a different crowd that's on the internet. I know as of this morning we had several people that registered, but sometimes people register to watch things. So there's no guarantee. We'll see what happens there, but I want you to know why she's yelling if she's back there again. Thank you all.
Well done.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you. Well done. Thank you, sir. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We're going to start the auction. We're going to sell choice on track number 1 or track number 2. Track number 1 is the east 75 acres more or less. Track number 2 is the west 62 acres more or less. The auction is being sold with the reserve. We'll get to the high bid. We'll ask the family if they can take the reserve off. If they can, we'll sell it to the last and the highest bidder. And so away we go. Ed and Haley, are you ready? And away we go. Vote to give $10,000. Able to get down $10,000 an acre. $10,000 an acre. $10,000 an acre. $10,000. Who give $9,500? Who gives $7,500 to start it? Able to get down $7,500, $500, $500, $7,500, $500, $7,500. Right there. You can open it, folks, with either one of the ring people. You just tell them, and they'll put your bid in. And right there. Who gives $6,000 for a starting bid? Able to get down $6,000. Able to get down $6,000. I've got $6,000 for a starting bid. And now 7. At $6,000 now, 7 amount, $7,000, $6,000, 7 amount, $7,000. I bid $6,000, $6,500. At $6,500, $6,500, $6,500. I bid $6,000, $6,500, 5 now 5, now 7. And now $7,000, now 7 amount, $7,000. I bid $6,500, now 7 amount, 7 here. At $7,000 here, now 7. Hold on just a second. The bid is $6,500. And I forgot one of the main things that I shouldn't have forgot, and that's to introduce my wife, Suzanne Baer, in the back of the room, who's helping us today also. Suzanne, thanks for being here. At 65, there you go, 2 people clapped over here, right? And they're both ladies. At 65, and now 7. And now 7 amount, 65, 7 here, now $7,500, $7,500. At $7,500, $7,500, 75, 75, 8. At $8,000, 8 grand, $8,000, $7,500, 8,000. At $7,500, $8,000. At $7,500, $8,000, $8,000, $8,000, $7,500, $8,000. At $7,500, $8,000. At $7,500, $8,000, $8,000, $7,500, $8,000. I'm only bid $7,500, $8,000. Ladies and gentlemen, a Century Farm. I'll have 75, $8,000. At $7,500, $8,000. Go ahead. At $7,500, $8,000, $8,000. How about $7,750? At $7,750. At $7,750. At $7,750. At $7,750. At $7,500 is the bid. At $7,500 aid right there. $7,750. At $7,750. At $7,500 now. $7,750. At $7,500. $7,750. At $7,500 now. Half evening and now $7,750. At $7,500 your bid. And right there 1 or 2. At $7,750. At $7,750. 1 or 2. At $7,750. At $7,750. At $7,750. At $7,700 now. Half. $7,500 now. 7.5. At $7,500. 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. Hey, right there. I'm looking at you. At 77.5. Hey, I bid $7,500. 1 or 2. At 77. Right there. That means are they going to take 1 or 2? At 77.5. Hey, right there. $7,500. Right there. You bet. The bidder is bidding on both of them. If they take them, they're going to take both of them, ladies and gentlemen. But still, you still have choice right now. You still have choice. You can take one or you can take another. 7,500 is bid. 7,750. At 7,700 now 50. At 7,700 half. 7,700 now 50. At 7,700 now 50 now 50 now 50. At $7,500 now 7.5. 7.5. 7.5. At 7. How about 7,600? At $7,600. At $7,600. At 75 bid. 7,600. At $7,500. 7,600. Is that a bid, sir? Is that a bid? Are you scratching your nose, or is that a bid? Hey, 7,500 down, 70 down, 76. At $7,600. At 7,600. At $7,600. How are you looking? 79 there. Deb Hill, 75 is bid. You want to bid 76? At $7,600. At 7,600. Your bid is in, Ed. 7,500. $7,600. At 75. Remember, folks, the faster you bid, the less you got to listen to the auctioneer. Now, you're not going to say that out loud, but many people have thought that through the years. Right, Ken Scott? At 7,500, 7,600. At $7,500, $7,600, $7,500, 76. I'm only bid $7,500 now, $7,600. Look here. At 7,500, 7,600. At $7,500, 76. At $7,500 now, $7,600. Look here. 75, 7,600. At $7,600. Are you looking? At 7,600. At $7,600, 75, 76. Folks, we're going to sell choice of 75 acres more or less, or 62 acres more or less. The bid is 7,500. It's got some good CSR. It's got some good soil types. Farm was last sold in 1903, as we said. Nobody will be sitting in this room the next time it's sold, if it's the same amount of time, of course. And but 7,500 is bid on an excellent farm. Folks, I don't know if you notice as much as I do, but there's less and less farms that are offered for sale. Most investors keep their farms. Most farmers are keeping their farms. Most people that are farming keep their farms. Farms are less and less available for sale. And certainly I don't speak for Farm Credit Service or Michelle Greiman, but every time I send her a sale poster, she said, boy, that's good. We'll have some inventory for some folks. I bid 7,500, 7,600. At $7,500 now, 7,600. At $7,500, 7,600. Are you looking? At $7,500, 7,600. Look here. $7,500, $7,600. $7,500 now, $7,600 now, 7,600. Folks, we're going to take a recess. We're going to speak with the family. Family, if you'll come back in the kitchen with me, we'll talk about this, and we'll come back and we'll see what happens. Thank you. The bid right now is $7,500, and it's still choice of 1 parcel or 2 parcels. Testing 1, 2. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have some good news for everyone that is interested to buy a farm here today. And the Murfeld family has taken the reserve off, and Carolyn Athey, is that correct, that the reserve is off, that we can sell the farm as executor of the Murfeld estate? And so that means, ladies and gentlemen, as of right now, instead of an auction with reserve, it is a absolute auction. It absolutely sells to the last and the highest bidder here today. Somebody else will be owning the farm or be on the process to own the farm by a little time after the signing of after the auction. So we've got $7,500 bid. I want $7,600 at $7,500. Hey, but again now $500 now $600 now $500 now 6 at $7,600 now $7,600 bill now $500 now $600 now 500 now 5 76. I'm bid $7,500 $7,600 $7,500 $500 $600. I'm bid $7,500 5 and a half at 75 and a half at $7,550 at $7,550 at $7,550 at 75 and a half. Now you can still take 1 or 2 parcels, folks, as of right now. 75, 5 and a half at 7,500, 5 and a half at 7,500, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 7,550 at 7,550. Hey, now 5 and a half, all in, all done at 7,500, 5 and a half. Don't lose this farm for $7,500 at 7,550 at 5 and a half, $7,500 50 at 75, 5 and a half, 550, all in, all done 7,500, 550 at $7,500, 5 here now has 7,550. Folks, I think this farm is undervalued. I don't know if you think it is or not, but most of these CSRs are in the mid-70s. That's $100 a CSR point, and that's on towards the low side of what these farms have been bringing. Here's a good farm, as renter Tim Brunner has said. There's tile in the farm. It drains fine, and if you go out there, I'm sure you've had a chance to look at it. I'm sure you've had a chance to drive by it. I have not seen a better crop of corn or beans anywhere, any place, than that's on that farm right now. And so take advantage of it, take an opportunity for it. It's in the mid-70s CSR and CSR2. The bid is $7,500. I want $7,550 at 5 and a half, $7,500, 5 and a half. Hey, everything now $500 now 50. Everything now 75 and a half at 75, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, $7,550 at 75, 5 and a half, 550. Hold in on down $7,500, 500. Hey, 5 and a half. Hey, right, Jason, right there. We're looking at the internet if they still want in at 7,500, 550 at 7,500. Absolute auction. Absolutely going to sell to the highest bidder here today at 7,550 at 75, 5 and a half, 550 here to 5 and a half, all in, all done at 7,500, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 7,550 at 7,500, 5 and a half, all in, all done 75, 5 and a half at $7,500 50 everything 50 here, all in, all done at 75, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, 5 and a half, all in, all done 75, 5 and a half. Does anybody else want to bid? The bid is $7,500. At $7,550 at $7,000. I'll tell you what I'll do. I want to be fair to all bidders. I want to be fair to all the family. I've got $7,500. I want $7,525. I'm going to take a $25 increase, ladies and gentlemen, because I think that's fair. It's fair to the bidders, it's fair to the buyers, and it's fair to the family. The bid is $7,500, and if it doesn't bring any more, it's going to sell, ladies and gentlemen. $7,525. Don't lose it for $25 at $7,500, 5 and a quarter at 75 and a quarter, 5 and a quarter, 5 and a quarter, 5 and a quarter, $500 now a quarter. Now, folks, does anybody need to make a phone call? Does anybody need to call home? Call Michelle Greiman at Farm Credit Services. She's not going to be in her office. So anyway, does anybody need to speak with a brother, a father, a son? Does anyone have to do anything? We have a fiduciary, as I said, a fiduciary duty to do the very best that we can for the Murfeld family. They're not going to be selling this farm tomorrow. They're not going to be selling it next week, next month, next year. The last time it was sold was 115 years ago. Somebody's going to buy an excellent, excellent farm. My bid is $7,500. I want 75 and a quarter. At 7,500 now a quarter. Hey, but now 20 pound a quarter to mine, 20 pound a quarter to mine. How are you looking? 7,500 on or 25? 7,500 on now a quarter. Are there any questions? Does anybody else want to bid? 7,500, 5 and a quarter. At 7,500 on or 20 pound a quarter to mine, 20 pound a quarter. At 7,500 on or 25. Anybody else? 7,500, 75 and a quarter once. $7,525, $7,525, $7,525, $7,525, $7,525 twice. $7,525. Does anybody else want to bid? Jason, do you have anything on the internet? Anything?
She's got 13 people watching her.
Got 13 people on the internet. My bid is $7,500. The next bid will be 75 and a quarter if you want it. At 75 and a quarter. At 7,500 on a quarter to mine, 20 mine, a quarter to mine, 20 mine, quarter to mine. How are you looking? At $7,500. At 75 and a quarter. At 75 and a quarter. At 75 and a quarter. At 7,500 on a 20 mine, a quarter to mine, 20 mine, a quarter. We're going to sell it. $7,525 for the third and final time. So, $7,500. $7,500. How about a round of applause for our buyer, for our bidders, for the folks who are online? And bidder number is? 59. And do you take one parcel or two?
Takes parcel 1 and parcel 2.
Takes both of them, 2 times the money. All right, sir, thank you very much. And I want to thank the other bidders that bid on this land. I want to thank the Murfeld family for their time, their energy, their effort, and just their friendship also. Ladies and gentlemen, grab a donut on the way out. Jason Smith will be seeing you, sir. Jason's a licensed real estate broker in the state of Iowa. He'll be conducting the signing. And Jason, do you have anything else? Whoa, wait a minute. Don't anybody leave. Come on up here a minute. Hold on, folks. Jason's got something he'd like to tell you about.
We do have a farmland auction over by Ionia tomorrow. We're going to be selling in New Hampton. There are flyers in the back. And should anybody be interested, next week on August 11th, we've got 6,100 acres in Paraguay that's going to be selling as a part of an Iowa LLC. We're buying a turnkey operation there, all the equipment, labor's in place, whatever it might be. We've got another 12 to 13 farmland auctions coming up. You can always find them at trader.com or download our app where they automatically appear. I myself do want to, I really do appreciate the family and all of you guys coming, and I wanted to say thank you one last time. So, and I thank you too, Paul.
Thank you. Nice working with you, mister.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Grab a donut on the way out, and we appreciate you being here.